What is up, Bears fans? Welcome to the Bears Huddle podcast, your UK take on all things Chicago Bears. I'm Owen W. James. This is your news update, guys. We are going to look ahead. We're going to look back. We're going to look everywhere to do with our Chicago Bears. If you just found the channel, guys, welcome on board. Yes, I am English. My accent is just not weird. No, I'm not weird. I just have an English accent. Obviously, please smash that sub, ring that notification bell so you don't miss out on the content as we step things up as the season progresses here on the Bears Huddle podcast. Right, look, let's get straight into it. I think the big question we're asking is, can the Bears keep winning this season? Can they keep this run going? 9-3, won 5 straight since the Baltimore Ravens defeat. We are looking like a team heading in the right direction. And look, I don't know why. I don't know why. But, you go back to 2018, obviously the last winning season. You go back over the last few seasons when things have fallen apart abysmally. And you kind of ask the question, is this going to be different? And to me, there's just something that feels slightly different about our Bears this year. Something that feels like this is a more sustainable path of success, that it's not going to be just another flash in the pan, that these Bears can, in effect, go all the way. They will not win the two, but I'm talking about at least getting to the playoffs and having a good playoff run. I'm not going to sit here this morning or this afternoon, whenever you're watching the video, and pretend to you that it's going to be easy, because it ain't. Because it's a tough schedule to finish the season off with the 5 games we've got. Obviously the Packers, the Lions, and the Niners all have winning records, and the Browns is the Browns. But it is what it is, guys. But there are reasons to be cheerful, reasons to be. We look at the NFC North as it stands today, and the Bears sit top 9-3-0. Ben Johnson with at the moment, the best winning percentage of any Bears head coach ever. Points for looks pretty decent. Home record is good, 4-1. Road record is good, 5-2. It's decent. Packers at 8-3-1. Lions at 7-5, and the Vikings at 4-8. That is not a good Vikings team this year. Big QB troubles down in Minnesota, or up in Minnesota, or across in Minnesota, whatever the hell Minnesota is. The Lions can't hear a lot of roaring going on in Detroit at this moment in time, and obviously would love to put them. You know what I would love? Last game of the season, us to seal the NFC North and put them out of the playoffs. That would be just perfect for Ben to do that and rub their noses back in it after their treatment of Ben earlier in the season when they won their Super Bowl, which was beating us, of course, in that game in Motor City. Look, like I said to you, I ain't pretending it's going to be easy. You look at the record, you look at what we've got left. Packers on Sunday at Lambeau. Then it's the Browns at Soldier Field. The Packers back at Soldier Field again. Then we go to California to take on the Niners before a Soldier Field game against the Lions. So I suppose one positive, 3 out of the last 5 games are at Soldier Field. Like I said, the other the teams we face, the Packers currently sit at 8-3-1. The Browns are 3-9. The Niners are 9-4 in that ridiculous NFC West. If anyone's seen that NFC West, it is absolutely ridiculous. The records of the respective teams, and that is probably, I think, along with the NFC North, is one of the strongest conferences in football as it stands. The Rams 9-3, the Seahawks 9-3, the Niners 9-4. Only the Cards letting down the side at 3-9, a bit like the Vikes, I suppose, in the NFC North. But like I said, that ain't going to be easy. And look, I would love to be able to go and sweep those Packers, and we're going to have to put up over the next coming few days, weeks, etc., as we went into the second game, with all the shit talking and the bad mouthing and the crap that comes out of those cheeseheads. You know that. We just let them do their talking. We'll do our talking on the field on Sunday. Hopefully we go to Lambeau and win there like we did last season. But, look, I've talked about, can we sustain this? And I said that things feel different this season. Why do things feel different this season? Well, I think, in terms of the head coach, the DC, we've got 2 of the best offensive and defensive minds in football calling games. Ben Johnson, I think, is one of the best offensive minds in football. He can innovate, he can change, he can be creative, he can get things going on the offensive side of the ball that perhaps obviously never happened when Eberflus was here and Shane Waldron. I think there is a positivity to be had there, and Caleb is making progress this season under Ben Johnson. So I think first of all, the first reason to be optimistic is that we go with a better head coach, with a better offensive mind, with a better coaching philosophy, full stop. And he's given them a real sense of belief this season that hasn't been there in previous seasons. I think there is, from the players, a real sense that this is the real deal. DA as well. Look, the defense this season I think is the weaker side of the ball, and perhaps we're still giving up I think over 24 points a game, but at the end of the day, DA's had a lot to deal with this season. A hell of a lot of injuries to key players. I mean, if you look at the situation where most of this season we've done without Jalen Johnson, Kyler Gordon's missed a lot, TJ Edwards, Tremaine Edmonds. There's a lot of injuries on that defensive side of the ball, yet the Bears keep finding ways of getting takeaways, keep finding ways of holding teams, even like the Eagles, to only 15 points, with a linebacker core that is made up of backups. Aman Oman Biega, or whatever you want to call him. Obviously, DeMarco Jackson. We're running on a pretty much second string held together with parcel tape and duct tape kind of linebacker core. And a lot of the season as well, the secondary's been held together the same way with string and parcel tape, hasn't it? Now Jalen Johnson's back. Obviously, Nashawn Wright's having a decent season. Bayard is looking unbelievably good, looking Pro Bowl, All-Pro kind of category. Jaquan is looking good, staying healthy, which is positive. And I suppose Tyreek Stevenson will be back soon as well. And Tyreek was having himself a year until he went out injured. So there's positives on that defensive side of the ball. I think, there's still areas for development on that defensive side of the ball. The Bears do need to find some way to get the pass rush home. There had been green shoots from Montez Sweat in recent weeks, but they've kind of died off. Austin Booker as well, Gervon Dexter, Andrew Billings, Grady Jarrett. The Bears need to find some way to bring that pass rush, to bring that pressure a little bit more on the quarterback over the next few weeks, especially, going up against the likes of Jordan Love, Brock Purdy, Shadur Sanders, the most overrated QB in the NFL just because of who his dad is. And obviously against Jared Goff. So I do think there's an element of having to bring that, an improvement. But, you look on the positive side of the game. Now, the running game is going so well at this moment in time. And I think, obviously that's not just down to what we're seeing from the running backs, Kyle and Andre, and the offensive line. It's also the creative play calling of Ben Johnson, the fact that, you got tight ends coming on the pull and smacking into people, making big holes. Ben Johnson is being creative with that run game. And as long as we keep that run game going and developing that run game, I think there is a real element to be had of massive success here for our Bears. Big credit, obviously, goes to Ben Johnson for getting us there. But big credit also goes to these guys, the offensive line, who, Trapillo, Tooney, Dahlman, Jonah Jackson, and Darnell Wright, who for me, against the Eagles really did put in an MVP type performance. They really were good quality. And I think as long as we keep that O-line moving as it is, and big credit to Dan Rauscher for the work that he's done with them, and obviously Trapillo stepping up, Joe Tooney leading on that offensive line. The guy is the biggest steal ever, fourth round pick for Joe Tooney. Jesus Christ. I think if we can keep that offensive line healthy, we keep that offensive line as it is, blocking as it is, Theo Benedette obviously stepping in as well, then there's elements there that can really bring success on the offensive side of the ball and keep that running game going. And if the Bears can keep that running game going through the next few games, there are more wins there than losses. I'm not saying we go 5-0 in the last 5 games, but I think there is more wins than losses. 3-4 wins to be had there if this O-line keep moving forward, keep opening those running lanes, keep protecting Caleb the way they have done. Obviously, Caleb needs to keep on working on his accuracy. I think if we can bring that element and get a little bit more accuracy from Caleb over the next sort of 3, 4, 5 weeks, then I think there is going to be a lot more wins than losses for the Bears. But for me, the offensive side of the ball, we need to keep the run game going, and the O-line needs to stay healthy, and the rest, I think, will take care of itself. So big credit to those guys. Look, the linebacker core, if you look at these guys, TJ Edwards, Tremaine Edmonds, and Noah Sewell, who did so well at the start of the season, obviously been out. Now, the hope is that TJ Edwards may be back for the Soldier Field clash with Green Bay. Maybe also Tremaine Edmonds could be back. Getting these guys back and healthy, as we come towards the playoffs, if we can seal that playoff spot, you're looking at having a much more healthy defense. Having those 3 guys back is going to make a huge difference for the Bears. It gives you more run protection. It gives you more pass protection. It gives you more pass rush. It gives you just a whole lot more. There is no weak area then on that defense. And look, I've got respect to DeMarco Jackson, respect to Aman Oman Biega, but these guys are the top 3. Even though Asul I might miss out to DeMarco Jackson given the way he's been playing, but Tremaine and TJ certainly would go straight back into that team. And I think getting those guys back is going to be fundamental going on, and getting them fit, I think, can certainly help the Bears sustain that winning run that we are currently on. Jalen Johnson's back, Kyler Gordon's back. They will hopefully get fitter, stay injury-free for the rest of the season. There is far more positives trending in the way of continuing this winning run and being successful than there is negatives. And all those elements that I've kind of mentioned in this video hopefully will help the Bears to keep on winning. Now, it could go disastrously wrong. We could lose all 5 and finish 9-8, which is what I think Vegas was kind of predicting. But my hope is that having those elements, and those elements keep playing well, keep being coached as they are, and the coaches keep developing them as they are, and the coaches are doing a great job, I believe, then I think there is more signs of success coming for the Bears. That record, look, I would love a sweep the Packers, beat the Browns. Look, look, sitting here today, I think we go 4-1, possibly 3-2. May split with the Packers. I think we beat the Browns, who are garbage. We lose to the Niners in California. It's never a great place to go. And we beat the Lions. I would love, like I said, to beat the Lions, seal the North, knock them out of the playoff contention in that last game. I'm going to go for either 4-1 or 3-2 going into the end of the season, leaving the Bears at either 12-5 or at 13-4 going into the playoffs. I do believe they will get the playoffs this season, though. I think there's a good chance of that. I think it's been predicted as 83.5% chance of getting the playoffs, 43% chance of winning the North. That's how it's looking at the moment. The Packers still obviously being favoured. But look, I think we'll know a lot more after Sunday's game with those Packers. Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Can we keep on winning? Have you got enough faith in this coaching staff and in this roster to keep it positive moving forward? Let me know in the comments. And if you've enjoyed the content, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Bear down.